How can a human foot compete with the foot of God? In Chinese, the name Cape Verde sounds just like God's foot. In this World Cup, Cape Verde would actually make it a reality. This West African nation of fewer than 500,000 people making its first World Cup appearance pulled off one upset after another, drawing consecutive matches against Spain, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, and pushing defending champion Argentina into extra time. 40-year-old goalkeeper Wazina became a legend in a single match. While fans were cheering for him, sharp-eyed netizens also noticed that the boots on his feet actually came from Puteon Fujian. Even more surprising, off the pitch, Cape Verde's ambassador to China said in an interview, "All of our government's official vehicles have been replaced with BYDs. Government fleet vehicles are never ordinary commodities. They carry reception duties, diplomatic affairs, and VIP transport. Not a single glitch is tolerated." For decades, this threshold has been extremely strict. The ones that could hold their ground long-term were always the same old names: Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz. Chinese cars running as taxis or daily drivers on African streets are no longer a novelty. But to enter a government fleet, that's a whole different story. Why would a small African nation dare to take its national image on Chinese EVs? Cape Verde, an island nation off the west coast of Africa, it's 4,033 square kilometers of land, or even smaller than Shanghai. The islands don't produce a single drop of oil. All fuel must be imported. Guess how much 95-octane petrol costs here? Converted to renminbi, it's over 11 yuan per litre, 30% more expensive than in China. Just maintaining a government fleet is a significant expense, and it has to be paid every single year, a cost that can't be cut or avoided. But EVs are different. Cape Verde has plenty of sunshine and plenty of sea breeze. The Canary Current flows southward along the African coast, clearing away the clouds. There are 350 sunny days a year. The northeast trade winds blow steadily in from the deep Atlantic. The wind never stops. So put up solar panels, spin up wind turbines, and you have electricity. Running EVs on locally generated power in the long run is far cheaper than paying for imported oil. What's even more fitting is that Cape Verde consists of 10 islands. The largest, Santiago, is 75 kilometers long and 35 kilometers wide. With a full charge, you can circle the island several times over. Range anxiety simply doesn't exist here. Cape Verde also exempts EVs from import duties and value-added tax. As soon as an EV arrives at port, its price is already a notch lower than a petrol car's. So the logic is clear: you don't produce oil, buying oil costs money, but sunlight and sea breeze are free. EVs get tax exemptions too. Run the numbers, and the government can slash a huge chunk of costs. This is a very pragmatic fiscal choice. So which EVs to switch to? Cape Verde's auto market is actually very small. In the past, the cars on its roads were mostly used petrol cars from Europe and Japan. Volkswagen, Renault, Peugeot and Toyota were the most common. But now Cape Verde wants to leapfrog the petrol car era and go straight into electrification. What they need is not just a few vehicles, it's a system that can truly keep running. You have the cars, but what about charging piles, after-sales support, services? China's answer was, you buy the cars and we'll help you build charging stations, lay out solar panels and equip you with energy storage systems so the electricity can actually be put to use. So it wasn't just BYD's cars that went in. What followed them in were charging infrastructure, after-sales guarantees, service capabilities, and a complete delivery framework that gave the government confidence to sign. This shift is significant. Many used to think that Chinese auto exports were just about selling cars, but now it's clearly no longer that. What really matters is the ability to export an entire system. The car is just the first link. Cape Verde choosing BYD wasn't just a commercial decision. In 2018, Cape Verde joined the Belt and Road Initiative. This year also marks the 50th anniversary of China-Cape Verde diplomatic relations. Over these decades, China built trust step by step through foundational cooperation in ports, hospitals, and other infrastructure. Only in the end did it come to cars. This sequence is also crucial. If the earlier trust building hadn't been solid, the vehicle procurement deal would have been very hard to close. So, BYD's win felt more like a natural extension of deep bilateral cooperation. It may look like a small news item, but behind it lies a major trend. Chinese new energy vehicles are evolving from exporting products to exporting standards. Local people see it every day. Government officials coming and going in Chinese EVs. Without spending a dime on advertising, trust quietly grows. In the past, when Chinese cars were mentioned, most foreigners' first reaction was cheap gets job done. But when they start appearing in government fleets, the signal is completely different. They are not just sellable, they can handle serious responsibilities without losing face. Verde's 1,000+ government vehicles wouldn't stand out in any Chinese automaker's sales sheet. It's not an impressive number, but its significance lies in this. It sets a model for overseas markets. In the petrol car era, the technological modes of engines and transmissions wielded the first-mover advantages of German and Japanese brands for nearly a century. Latecomers could hardly break in, but in the electrification phase, the barriers have completely changed. It's now about batteries, electronic controls, intelligence, and integrated energy systems, exactly what we excel at. Verde's value is that it elevates Chinese cars from a consumer choice to a symbol of national image. But we shouldn't get carried away. Small markets may look exciting, but once you are in, you realize that a policy shift or currency fluctuation can be unavoidable costs. And service? In a place like this, if one car breaks down, the entire brand's reputation could collapse. So the real test lies in the years ahead. How they can stabilize after-sales support and localization. The World Cup will end and the news will cool down, but Chinese EVs have already embedded themselves in the small Atlantic nation's government system. For those countries with high oil prices, small territories, and a desire to drive energy transition, they will all take a serious look at this model. What they are looking at isn't a particular brand of car, it's this model itself, whether it can work on their own soil. In fact, Verde is just a microcosm. Its choice isn't enough to tell the whole story, but it represents a possibility. And the real value of this model needs to be viewed against the backdrop of the entire African market. Across Africa, 1.4 billion people, annual new car sales are only 1.41 million units. Given its scale, that number is tiny. Most countries still rely heavily on imported used cars. New car penetration hasn't yet taken off. But it's precisely this not yet taken off that offers the possibility of leapfrogging the petrol car era. South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt, these three countries alone already sell 1 million new cars a year combined. Algeria in particular has seen explosive growth, importing 177,000 vehicles from China in 2025, a 42-fold increase year on year. So, Verde is not an isolated case, it's a signal. For those countries that also face high oil prices, have limited territory, and don't carry the burden of a heavy petrol vehicle industrial chain. What they need is no longer just a specific brand of car. It's a complete solution that can leap straight into electrification. With one small government trust, Verde just helped Chinese EVs in this match score the first goal.